Blake Lively stormed out of the Justin Baldoni settlement talks? And Brian Friedman saying we're going to trial? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and it seems like Daily Mail is being a little overly dramatic. We have the footage of Blake Lively allegedly storming out. I don't think she was storming out. She didn't seem as happy, though, as Justin and his wife leaving. We're going to play all the footage, as well as footage from Brian Friedman and everybody else that came out. So let's go through various clips. This is the best we can sort of sense as to what happened today after apparently 6 hours.
Hi, guys. Are you happy with the way things went today? Are you guys all set?
Brian Friedman just declared we're going to trial after 6 grueling hours of settlement talks, a statement that rings with chilling finality for Blake Lively. She was seen exiting the courthouse looking anything but pleased, a stark contrast to the confident smiles from Justin Baldoni and his legal team. The footage of her departure, while not a dramatic storm out in the traditional sense, certainly showed a profound lack of the happiness and ease exuded by the other side. This critical moment has set the stage for an explosive legal battle, promising to draw the entertainment world's gaze.
As she's leaving. Look, there's nothing really revealing here. A lot of this is just, but I don't know about you, she doesn't seem as happy as Justin leaving. Now, that doesn't mean she lost, but probably. If you didn't see our video this morning with both Ron Zambrano and Greg Dahl, two amazing neutral attorneys who brought their perspective and explained why Blake is not in a good position right now, I highly urge you check it out. Make sure you go watch it. I'll put it at the end of this video as well. But yeah, all these clips and things aren't really helping. Now, I want to go to what Brian Friedman says here at the very end.
Hopeful for the rest of the case? The case will move forward.
The case will move.
The initial clips show a clear difference in demeanor. Blake Lively walked out, tight-lipped and seemingly unwilling to engage, her team mirroring her serious expression. On the other hand, Justin Baldoni appeared calm, even cheerful, with his wife by his side. When asked for comments, Blake's side remained silent, lacking the confident energy of Baldoni's camp. This visual narrative immediately sparked speculation, hinting at a deep divide in how the settlement discussions concluded for each party.
Well, but yeah, all these clips and things aren't really helping. Now, I want to go to what Brian Friedman says here at the very end.
Hopeful for the rest of the case? The case will move forward.
The case will move forward.
Hopeful?
Am I hopeful about what?
About how the case will proceed?
Oh, yeah, I'm
So, Brian, you guys...
Oh, yeah, I'm very hopeful. It's like, he's laughing. He's like, oh, I'm very hopeful. They definitely feel like, well, and they could be playing this for the cameras, mind you, but they definitely are coming out more confident.
Didn't reach a settlement today?
not today. No.
So tomorrow?
No settlement reached today. We'll see.
Is this going to Friday? Or will this go to trial?
We'll see.
But there's still a chance of settlement?
There's always a chance.
Then came the bombshell from Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer. Emerging from the closed-door discussions, he was direct, almost gleeful, confirming the talks ended without a resolution. The case will move forward, he stated, laughing confidently. When pressed further on whether it would go to trial, his answer was unequivocal. I do, and I'm looking forward to it. This wasn't a hesitant legal assessment. It was a bold, almost defiant declaration of intent, signaling a significant shift in strategy.
Because he's got to show it. Now, as we're going through everything here, I want to shout out Lauren Conlon. Shout out, she was there. We're getting some updates. It's a closed conference. There's a couple things you guys should know. In fact, let me pivot before we even go through Lauren's things. You got to understand, for those of you who don't know and who haven't been through settlements or settlement conferences like this, which usually are sort of required. The judge wants to see you attempt to find a medium. They're brutal. They're brutal. The mediators, in this case, the magistrate judge, as Ron and Greg, illuminated even further, it is their job to basically destroy your case, to tell you why you have to go settle. They're not going to just side with one person and side with Justin and say this. They're going to tell Justin all.
This declaration from Friedman, coupled with his hopeful laughter, suggests a strong belief in their position. While it could be a tactic for the cameras, the conviction in his voice was palpable. He clearly feels Justin Baldoni is in a winning position, an assessment that aligns with earlier expert analysis. This overt confidence immediately puts Blake Lively's team on the defensive, especially given her visibly less enthusiastic exit from the courthouse. The psychological warfare is already in full swing.
The judge wants to see you attempt to find a medium. They're brutal. They're brutal. The mediators, in this case, the magistrate judge, as Ron and Greg, illuminated even further, it is their job to basically destroy your case, to tell you why you have to go settle. They're not going to just side with one person and side with Justin and say this. They're going to tell Justin all of the holes in Justin's case. They're going to tell Blake all the holes in her case. A good mediator, a good judge who's mediating will absolutely tell you the truth, or at least tell you the worst case scenarios. That's what a mediator's job is. So when you're sitting in this grueling 6-hour position, you come in confident, think you're going to win. I got
The settlement conference itself was an arduous 6-hour session, a closed-door affair designed to be brutal. For those unfamiliar with these legal processes, a magistrate judge or mediator's role is not to pick sides. Instead, they are tasked with thoroughly dismantling both parties' cases, exposing every weakness, every hole, every potential pitfall, forcing them to confront the worst-case scenarios and seriously consider a settlement. It's an incredibly grueling experience, even for seasoned legal teams.
20 before briefly stepping out again. At 124, Heath's lawyer, Mitch, stepped out and asked the court officer to tell the women to come back in if he saw them. One of Baldoni's lawyers, Jonathan Bach, stepped out to go to the bathroom, waited outside and asked if he thought this would last all a week. He just shrugged. At one point, Lively's attorney, Michael Gottlieb, and Ezra Hudson stepped out around 116, returning shortly with food or coffee in a brown bag. They looked serious. Now, take that as you will. Take that as you will. We don't know what that actually means. This is a very serious thing, settlement talks. It doesn't always just go one way, even though you think it should. Doesn't really matter. The judge is there to sort of really hear both sides and attempt to...
Imagine sitting through hours where an impartial third party systematically tears down your arguments, points out flaws you hadn't considered, and outlines every reason why your case might fail at trial. This immense pressure is designed to make even the most confident individuals question their stance. It's a process that ensures both sides feel the intense scrutiny, pushing them toward a compromise where neither truly wins, but both can walk away with some resolution.
Their talks or anything else, much more lean in his favor. So it's sort of his move, I think, to wait it out at this point. What else has he got to lose? Blake Lively cannot afford to lose this battle in trial, especially. Again, think about how Amber Heard ended up. She can't afford that. If the judge, throws it out now, she can blame the system. If they figure out a way to settle, and maybe it's a little bit of a loss on her, she can still make an excuse without disparaging him. There's ways to get out of it where, we fast forward a little bit and people in Hollywood probably will forget. I know you guys won't, but people in Hollywood could. It is much more advantageous for her to settle now or get out of this.
Expert attorneys Ron Zambrano and Greg Dahl, who previously weighed in, had already highlighted Blake Lively's precarious legal standing. Their analysis suggested she was not in a good position, a perspective that now seems to be reinforced by the outcome of these settlement talks. This pre-existing professional assessment adds weight to the current situation, underscoring the challenges Blake Lively faces as the case potentially moves closer to a full-blown trial.
It is much more advantageous for her to settle now or get out of this or have it be thrown out. This will never work for her in court. I stand by it. I don't see how a jury rather on earth is going to sit there and believe that this man was harassing her, sexually harassing her. There's no proof of retaliation. If anything, they're going to be able to show all the nasty things she's done, and it's going to blow up even further in her face. And then if she loses to a jury, that's going to be a lot harder to defend. So what do you guys think's happening here? Do you think they will settle? Do you think this will go to court? Also, if you didn't watch this morning's video, please hit the bells, hit the likes, leave your comment, but also make sure you check out this morning's video with Ron and...
The nature of these talks is crucial. It was a closed conference, meaning everything discussed is off the record and cannot be used against either party in the actual lawsuit. It's a protected space for raw, unvarnished negotiation where all cards can be laid on the table without fear of public disclosure. This confidential environment is supposed to foster amicable resolution, yet in this instance, it appears to have only solidified the resolve for a courtroom showdown. Adding to the drama, the teams were kept physically separate. Blake Lively's legal contingent was stationed in one courtroom at the end of a hallway, while Justin Baldoni's team occupied a separate courtroom on the opposite end. The judge was the only one moving between the two via a private back hallway, effectively preventing direct interaction between the parties. This strict separation underscores the tension and the potential for heated exchanges, even in a mediation setting. Even the presence of the wives added an interesting layer to the day's events. Emily and Natasha Heath, Jamie and Justin's wives respectively, were reportedly waiting in a separate jury room, not permitted inside the actual proceedings. Their presence suggests significant personal investment in the outcome. At one point, both wives stepped out for a brief break, perhaps seeking respite from the intense atmosphere, or simply hoping for some news from their respective partners. Small details emerged throughout the day, offering fleeting glimpses into the gravity of the situation. At one point, a cart of salads was wheeled in, indicating a long session with no breaks for a traditional lunch. Lawyers stepped out for air, returning shortly, their faces betraying little but serious resolve. These minor actions paint a picture of enduring strain and focused concentration, as legal teams grappled with complex and emotionally charged negotiations. A particularly telling moment occurred when Justin Baldoni himself briefly stepped outside his courtroom. He was observed asking a court official if they had seen his wife, his expression notably serious. It seemed he wanted to consult with her, perhaps to run something by her or seek her emotional support, highlighting the personal toll such high-stakes legal battles take on everyone involved, not just the principals. The pressure was visibly mounting for all parties. Lively's legal team, including Michael Gottlob and Ezra Hudson, were also seen stepping out around midday, returning with food or coffee in a brown bag. Their expressions, much like Baldoni's brief, serious look, conveyed the intense nature of the discussions. These small observations, though seemingly minor, indicate a day filled with high pressure and unwavering focus, where every decision and every piece of information carried significant weight for both sides. From an analytical perspective, it seems Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds may not be approaching these talks with a fully reasonable mindset. Conversely, Justin Baldoni's legal position appears stronger at this juncture. Legal experts anticipate that Judge Lyman might throw out significant portions of Blake's case, which would be a monumental victory for Baldoni and would drastically shift any future settlement discussions overwhelmingly in his favor. The stakes for Blake Lively are incredibly high if this case proceeds to trial. She simply cannot afford a public loss, particularly in today's media landscape. The parallels to other high-profile celebrity legal battles, such as the Amber Heard situation, are undeniable. A jury verdict against her could result in a catastrophic blow to her public image and career, a risk she likely wants to avoid at all costs, given the potential for intense public scrutiny and negative perception. For Blake Lively, settling now or having the case thrown out offers a significant advantage. If a settlement is reached, even if it's not entirely in her favor, she can frame it as a mutual agreement. If the judge dismisses parts of her case, she can attribute it to the system. These options provide a way out that minimizes public fallout, allowing her and her team to control the narrative, hopefully enabling the Hollywood community to eventually move past the controversy. The prevailing opinion from those following the case closely is that a jury would struggle to believe Blake Lively's claims of harassment, including allegations of a sexual nature, especially without clear evidence of retaliation. On the contrary, there's concern that potential counter-evidence detailing her past actions could emerge, further damaging her credibility and making it even harder for her to secure a favorable verdict. The legal landscape appears challenging for her. If this case truly goes before a jury and Blake Lively ultimately loses, the ramifications could be severe and enduring. Such a public defeat would be incredibly difficult to defend or recover from, potentially eclipsing her professional achievements and permanently altering her public perception. This makes the decision to proceed to trial a massive gamble, with her reputation hanging precariously in the balance against a seemingly confident Justin Baldoni. The declaration from Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, that they are indeed going to trial signals a monumental legal clash is imminent. This bold move, combined with Blake Lively's visibly unhappy departure from the settlement talks, suggests an unbridgeable chasm between the two parties. The future now hinges on a courtroom battle, where Blake's reputation and career face their ultimate test, leaving the industry on tenterhooks, awaiting the next dramatic turn.